open about what happened to me. I think it's really important to talk about it because I think back when I got unwell, it was still, even though it was 10 years or 11 years ago, it was still quite, like, I felt like it was a taboo subject. So even though it's not that long ago, it still was like in the shadows a little bit. So after having Max, I just really struggled with, I think being a midwife made it harder.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on yourself.
Yeah, and I am that type of person that I am really good at my job. I am, quite successful. I'm confident, and I just wasn't that same person anymore. But it took me a really long time to actually realize something was wrong. Like, I put so much pressure on myself to be perfect and make sure that everyone around me thought that I was doing really well and that I was a really good mom and I had it all together. Trying to do things like lose weight after baby, go back to work after having a baby, breastfeed. And it felt like everything was a struggle and I wasn't doing anything right to the standard that I was holding myself. People around me weren't holding me to that standard, but in a way I felt like they were, but that was just like my warped sense of what was happening around me. So it got to about 8 months. I think Max was about 8 months old. And it's pretty hard to talk about because the feelings that you have when you have postnatal depression are so dark and like so abnormal, and they're so foreign that you just think, I shouldn't be thinking these things. I just kept saying, I just don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to listen to this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Just so in such a dark place. And it was like there was so much noise happening around me. You can't even describe it. Like it's a really weird thing when it happens to you. And I never thought this would happen to me. I was like, I'm a midwife. I know what I'm doing. I've got this down pat, and everyone else thought that around me as well. There were so many comments made when I was pregnant, when I had Max, about, oh, you'll be fine. You're a midwife. And I'm like, yeah, I will be fine. I've got this. And I really didn't have it.
So you set those expectations really high for yourself to
begin with. Yeah. And I tend to do that in my life. And I think a lot of women do that in their lives, is hold themselves to such a high standard. And then it really like backfires on you. And it just shouldn't be the way it is. Really suffering, really being like hating myself. Yeah. I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. Like, I got to that point where I just couldn't face myself each day. I couldn't face life each day. And it was really scary and really hard.
So from there, what was the next step? Like, Daniel was aware that you were feeling this way, your work knew about it, you'd acknowledged that that's how you're feeling. What was your next step to seek help?
I went to my GP, and at the time she was fantastic and just said, like, we need to get you into a psychologist. So I booked in and I found an amazing psychologist. I was so lucky. And I went and saw her the first time, and I just broke down and said to her, I just want it to stop. I remember putting my hands on my face and my head and just closing my eyes, and I said, I just want it to stop. I want the noise to stop. I cannot do this anymore. Yep. And she diagnosed me with severe postpartum anxiety and severe postpartum depression and recommended that I calm twice weekly, which was an extremely hard financial strain on it, because I was only working, I think I'd gone back casual maybe at the time. So I wasn't working a lot, and I really struggled with lifting myself up and getting myself to work. Yeah. Amongst everything else. Like, I withdrew from everything. I withdrew from my work. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to do anything. So the financial strain of getting help was really hard as well.
That's a difficult decision. Mental health, money,
it was really hard. Yeah. So I did it for as long as I could with the twice a week, and then I cut back. But it was like my little escape once a week. I got family to mind Max, and had a little routine. I would get a coffee and I would walk to the psychologist, and we would spend an hour together once a week, and then it went to once a fortnight. And she really helped me to just sort of discover myself again, be kinder to myself, and just work through those feelings that I had. And it took a long time. I did end up on medication. Yep. I started medication quite early after I saw her. She said, like, you're in a really bad place. We need some medication help here. Which I was pretty open to, even though, once again, like, I did feel like there was a stigma attached to it. But I was medicated for about 18 months total. And
Could you feel it helping you though at all once you started taking it instantly?
yeah, I don't know whether it's a combination of like the medication and the therapy. I think so. But I definitely needed it.
Yeah.
And I think that if anyone, like, there shouldn't be a stigma attached to medication.
No.
Like, you need to do what makes you feel better. And it's a really challenging part of postpartum. I think it still is in the shadows a little bit. There's not enough people talking about it. I think like I'm very open about what happened to me.
Yeah,
But
I think you're very brave for sharing
I think
your
there's
story.
a lot of people that don't talk about it.
We need to normalize it a lot more. Like, it happens to us. It's something we can't control. It's not something we choose.
Yeah.
It's a hormonal imbalance.
It doesn't discriminate
No,
either.
it doesn't discriminate. A
Yeah,
midwife,
definitely
like yourself.
doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can honestly say I'm not the same person. Like, and I don't think you're ever the same person after having a baby. But I'm definitely not the same person that I was back then. I suffer from anxiety a lot more. I haven't been on medication or anything. I do a lot of self-talk.
Yeah.
Calming techniques.
Very normal.
But I think that I have never been the same person that I was, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's about being okay with that and like embracing that new you and what your life looks like now and what your personality looks like now. But it's a long road.
So once you weaned off after the 18 months, what did you do to help your mental health and not worry about lapsing?
Oh, I'm not the best caretaker for my own mental health. I tend to like just keep going until I fall in a heap. But I have learned I do a lot of self-talk. I do a lot of like deep breathing, relaxation techniques. I try and make little moments for myself, even just like dropping the kids off, just having time. I think time to yourself is so important. Yeah. Even if it's like 10 minutes, just driving in the car, grabbing a coffee, like finding that one little thing. I used to just grab a coffee and walk around the shops. I didn't even need to buy anything. I didn't need to spend money. It was just that time of being able to breathe and just take that, oh gosh, like my thoughts were clear and I could sort of do what I wanted for a little bit. And it seems simple, but it just did a lot for me.
Those little strategies worked.
Yeah.
And then you've had a little bit of a break between Max and Liv. So having that break and going back into it, did you have fears again that you would have postnatal depression again?
I definitely did. And a lot of people probably think that we had infertility issues or something because we have a 5-year gap, but it was literally that we wouldn't have survived another baby so close to what we went through with Max. It took a massive toll on our relationship and we had to spend time building that back up. We're great now, but yeah, it really, I always say a baby will make or break your marriage. Yeah, absolutely. Luckily for us, it didn't break us, but it was definitely pushed to its limits. So there was that fear of having another baby. I might get sick again, or I might struggle, or we might struggle. And Max was 5. He was quite independent. We just sort of got through to that next point. But I said to my husband, I really do want another baby. And we agreed on it. But I made sure I put in lots of strategies to help me and help us next time. So Daniel had a little bit more time off work. I had more time off work. That wasn't that pressure to return to my job. I had 14 months off in total. I went off earlier actually as well, so I could just enjoy that time. Max was starting school, things like that. I just went off at about 32 weeks just so I could have that time at the end of my pregnancy to really soak it in and enjoy it, because I knew this would be my last baby as well. We never planned on any more than 2. And I did things like I got my mum to stay with me for 2 weeks. I just needed company and I needed someone to just be able to take the baby, to give me that breath. I'm very much about like, I just need a breather. I just need to step back and have a moment to clear my head. And for me, my mum was amazing. My husband was amazing. And I just felt like having the second baby, I was busier. I didn't have to just focus on that baby. It was like I had Max to focus on as well. And I just got on with life a little bit more, a bit easier than I did the first time. Like the transition from 1 to 2 was a lot easier for me than 0 to 1. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And it sounds like you prioritize self-care a lot more the second time. So you are aware as well of your signs and your triggers and when you need that to step back. And you had all the tools in place.
And I didn't. My psychologist did tell me that I was at such a high risk of developing postpartum depression again, and I didn't. And I'm really thankful for that. But I know that like a lot of people have it a lot worse than I did. But I really recognize when people are struggling now. And as a midwife, I really pride myself on knowing to tell someone that's okay. It's okay if you can't breastfeed or you don't want to breastfeed, or it's okay if you need time to yourself.
Yeah.
And just some people just need to be told that that's okay,
Yep.
you know, to not do something that's in the norm for your mental health, because I do believe that you need a happy mum to have a happy baby. And I experienced both ends of the spectrum, and yeah, it was a real eye-opener for me. And the way I practice today is very much reflective of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe for real talk, real support from real midwives.